one day our children will not remember every meal we cooked, every bill we paid, or every sacrifice we made quietly. But they will remember how home felt. They will remember whether we are present or distracted. They will remember whether we loved them with warmth or we just corrected them with pressure, like, sugar up, They will remember whether we were disappointed inside this shell called motherhood, or whether we showed them what it looks like to be a woman who is becoming. And that thought has been sitting heavily on my heart. And I said, let me share this with you today. Because as mothers, especially African mothers, we work so hard to give our children a better life. But sometimes we forget that the greatest legacy we leave is not only what we provide for our children, it is who we become in front of them. So today I want to talk about what I want my children to remember about me, about Samu, right? Hi, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Samu Gumbi, and on this channel, we talk everything to do about healing, motherhood, faith, digital skills, and building a life that does not make you lose yourself. If this is your first time here, I'm so glad you found this space. And if you're coming back, thank you so much for growing with me. All right, I hope you can see me. I am in the car. I don't want my children to remember me as a perfect mom, because I'm not. I've had days where I am tired, where I am exhausted, days where I've raised my voice. I don't know if you've had those days where I'm carrying too much in my heart and still had to show up as a mom. Days where I look so strong on the outside, but inside, I'm asking God for grace just to make it through the day. But I want them to remember that I love them deeply. I love my TJC. I want them to remember that even when I was tired, I came back with love. Even when I made mistakes, I tried to repair them. Even when life was not easy, I stayed present. I want my children to remember that their mother chose them. I was an accountant, but I chose to stay at home with my children. I don't know what you've done. So there was a season where I walked away from corporate life, not because I had no ambition, but because I had a different assignment. I wanted to be present. I wanted to see them grow. I wanted to build a home where my children felt seen, known, and covered. And I want every mother watching this to hear me clearly. Choosing your children does not mean that you have lost yourself. Sometimes it just means that you are brave enough to build a life that honors your values. Okay? But I also want my children to remember that I did not disappear into motherhood. I'm still here. Yes, I'm their mother, but I'm also a woman. I'm a woman with dreams, with gifts, with a calling. And I'm a woman who had to heal, a woman who had to rebuild. If you check out Samu online, I had to rebuild that. A woman who had to remember that her life still matters. I matter. Okay? I want my daughters to know that they can be nurturing and powerful, gentle but wise, present and home, and still have a voice in the world. And I want my son to know that women are not machines. Women are not just support systems in the background. Women are human beings with purpose, with emotions, with a dream, and a calling from God. I want my children to remember that their mother had faith, that their mother prayed. Not perfect faith, real faith. The kind of faith that I prayed when I was worried. The kind of faith that I opened the Bible when my heart was heavy. The kind of faith that still believed God, is writing my story, even when I could not see the full picture. Sometimes it gets tough, but they need to know that I had that faith. Because one day, my children will face storms of their own. And I want something inside of them to say, my mom taught me this. My mom taught me how to pray. I want them to remember the laughter. Not not just rules, not just homework, not just correction. I want them to remember the joy. I want them to remember the conversations that we've had, the hugs, the dancing in the kitchen, the traveling. You see when I'm in the car, praying together, knowing that home is a safe space. Because children may forget many details, but they remember the atmosphere. I want them to remember that I apologize. That when I got it wrong, I could say, baby, I'm sorry. Because motherhood is not authority without humility. Our children don't need mothers who pretend to be perfect. They need mothers who model healing. And I want them to remember that I built something. Maybe not always quickly, maybe not always perfect, but I built. I built with what I had. And what did I have? I had a phone. Oh, where's my other phone? Okay. I had a phone. I had a laptop. I had my voice, my story, and my faith. I built it while raising my children. I built while healing. I built while learning. And I built while trying to become the woman that God has called me to be. And that is what I want my children to know. Starting again is not failure. If life changes, start again. If one door closes, build again. If people don't understand your journey, keep walking with God. Okay? And sis, if this message is speaking to you, please subscribe to this channel because we are here not just talking about motherhood, but we're talking about the woman inside the mother, the woman who is healing, growing, and building again. So when I say what I want my children to remember about me, I'm not talking about being remembered as perfect. I want to be remembered as present, as prayerful, as loving, and as a woman who kept becoming. I want my children to say, our mother loved God. She loved us. She did not give up on herself, and she showed us that life can be rebuilt with faith, with courage, and with grace. But let me ask you, Mama, let me ask you, what do you want your children to remember about you? Write down one word in the comment. Maybe it's love, it's faith, it's strength, it's joy, it's healing. Whatever it is, write it down. Because naming the legacy helps us start living it. Okay. My prayer for us as mothers is that our children will not only remember what we did for them, but who we become in front of them. May they remember us as women who loved deeply, who healed, who built boldly, and lived with a purpose. Having said that, I'll see you in the next video. This is Samakumbi, the mompreneur. Smiling is my trademark.